We go to the previous line. Only a little the God light can stay. Spiritual beauty illumining human sight, lines with its passion and mystery, matter's mask, and squanders eternity on a beat of time. Why is it that the spiritual beauty can stay, or the God light can stay for only a little while? It is perhaps, as he has said in that, the line previous to that, the worship of a presence and a power which is too perfect to be held by death-bound hearts. Something too beautiful, too perfect, too marvelous is an experience we can't really accept or live for too long. We are small, limited, and that power of a greater experience is something beyond us. Unfortunately, we don't grow, we remain the same. So the beauty comes, the marvel comes again and again, and it withdraws. Just like in our inner life, we can't hold on to those moments. In the same way, the light comes every day, the dawn comes every day. It's a symbol. It has to withdraw because earth can't hold on to it. We are death bound, we are time bound, we are limited, we are small. Something that comes from eternity is entering into the field of time. It gives itself, it squanders. Squander is to really almost waste its power. And since earth and man are small in their nature, the receptivity is insufficient. It goes back. So now there is an image in the next line. As when a soul draws near the sill of birth, adjoining mortal time to timelessness, a spark of deity lost in matter's crypt, its luster vanishes in the inconscient plains. That transitory glow of magic fire, so now dissolved in bright, accustomed air. That, we start with the last line, that glow, that dawn, that magic luster is something we can't hold on to for too long. It's transitory for us, and therefore it withdraws, so now dissolved. And dawn is replaced by bright, accustomed air, day. Just like a spiritual experience that repeats itself regularly too often becomes habitual, customary. We fail to experience its marvel, its magic every instant. That is one of the greatest difficulties of the nature of man. He thinks he is repeating the same journey of consciousness over and over and over again without that inner spark. If we could live at every moment as if it is the first time we are experiencing that joy. Every time it comes, it's the first time. There is a kind of sense of opening, of discovery, of joy. But when it is given to us, as it is given, the grace, the love, the light is given to us every day, all the time, at every instant. We get used to it, we take it for granted, it becomes habitual. The sense of gratitude is not there, the sense of awakening is not there. We lose the contact. Something which we do in a repetitive manner, mechanically, automatically, that is one of the greatest difficulties that man has. You may say a prayer, but every time you say it, it has to surge up from your soul. It's not a prayer that you speak with your word, with your mouth. It's not lying. It's you do a gesture, you do a pranam. You do it because you do it every day. Every moment, if we can do those acts as if we have never done it before, as if we are really opening to it for the very first time. Every time it's the first time. There is a sense of opening, new discovery, and experience comes. But that is the problem with tradition, with ceremonies that are done in religions, traditional. They become mechanical, they become automatic. And so that spiritual value is, much of it is lost. Maybe not all of it, but much of it. So here the image is that of the soul, the eternal, comes into the world of time, of the body, as when a soul draws near the sill of birth. Sill is just the edge, like the window sill. Coming from eternity into the world of time, that moment when the spirit, the divine presence, enters into the human, enters into this time-born being called man, which is adjoining mortal time to timelessness. And this is what is special for us also. We are part of the eternal because the eternal is present within us. We are part of the mortal because that is what is our surface nature. So we are caught between the two. A spark of deity, of divinity, lost in matter's crypt. Crypt is a big, deep, underground vault. So from the heights, that presence, that spark comes into the world of mortality. The eternal comes into the world of mortality. And it gets lost in the darkness. The soul comes and hides within the human nature. Hides very well. So what we recognize as the human being is the surface person. But this human being is not just a human being, he is also an expression of the divine. But the divine hides within, because the outer being is not capable of transmitting that divine presence. We get used to it. We can't live without the soul. We would be dead. But we neglect it, we push it into the background, we forget about it, we live on the surface with mind, life, body as our whole nature. In the same way, this is an image. So that luster of the spirit is lost or hidden in the world of the inconscious. In the same way, that magic moment of new awakening, that dawn, it's a new beginning, glow of magic fire, so now dissolved. So the whole description of an inner awakening, the outer awakening of every day, the opportunity that life is to open to a light which we fail to make the most of. Why? It is accustomed day. Bright, accustomed day. That is the whole problem. Custom, there is a line in Wordsworth. Custom, something you do in a customary manner. Custom lie upon thee, heavy as frost, and deep almost as life. The frost that falls on the fresh plants and flowers that are growing up when the frost comes and chills them, kills them. In the same way, something done in a customary manner can be really destructive of the spirit. The message ceased and waned the messenger. The messenger is dawn, the message is light. The new birth, the new manifestation, the new coming, the new age. It's not every day only, it's a change of consciousness, it's an opening. It comes, it's an opportunity given to man. Life is nothing but opportunities. Are we going to take them or are we going to lose them? Sometimes we open and then we get used to it. Even what we call our spiritual activities can become customary. They do. And then they are not really of much value. The single call, the uncompanioned power, drew back into some far-off secret world the hue and marvel of the supernal being. She looked no more on our mortality. The messenger, the call, the uncompanioned power. She came to announce and the presence of a new birth and a new light. She drew back to the world from which she came. Earth could not accept her for too long. So what did she draw back? The supernal beam, the spiritual awakening with all its hues and colors and marvels. So simultaneously, at the moment of this, before the sun comes to announce the coming of the sun stands for the new truth, the supramental consciousness that is there, waiting beyond. And the dawn comes to tell us that it is there, we have to open to it. But we are trapped in our mortality, in our limitations. So she goes back. The messenger comes, the messenger goes back, unwanted, unheard, without any response from the earth. And this is why man's existence or the earth's existence seem to have been rotating in the same circuit for so long. We rise to fall, we move ahead in order to fall down again, over and over again, the same pattern, the same journey. Why can't we do it? The excess of beauty, natural to Godkind, could not uphold its claim on time-born eyes. That's the thing. Man is time-born. Within that, he lives in a limited field. All his experiences must have limits. We can't do anything too much. Even too much joy, too much love, too much beauty is not something we can really accept. We reject it, which is why whenever the greater beings come from other worlds, the greater guides and avatars, sages, Earth has always rejected them after a while, or brought them down to her own level, or thrown them out. Because we cannot accept something that is beyond our own limits. We refuse to change our limits. The whole problem is that if we could allow ourselves to expand our consciousness, to change and become more than we are at every moment, to widen, heighten, deepen our natures, then we could continuously absorb so much of the light and the grace that is constantly being showered on us. But if we remain small, as we do usually, trapped in the ego, trapped in the mind, trapped in the body and life, after a while all these gifts that come from beyond us, they spill out of us. We can't take them. We can't accept them. Therefore, time-born beings cannot accept eternity for too long. Too mystic real. That reality is too spiritual. That supernal beauty is too mystic real for space tenancy. We live in the world of space and time. That truth has come from beyond time, from the world of eternity. Its reality is of another nature. We measure reality by our own standards, our own understanding. What goes beyond my grasp, I cannot accept for too long. So, too mystic real for space tenancy. Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. That beautiful presence of dawn was wiped off. The rarity and wonder lived no more. There was the common light of earthly day. We are comfortable with that. Every day, that magical moment where there is the kind of herald of a new dawn or a new light or a new manifestation, an expression of a divine presence that is slowly emerging, all this is replaced by this ordinariness of our consciousness, the mental plane, the flat surface reality, the common light. So this is where we are most at ease. Affranchised from the respite of fatigue, once more the rumour of the speed of life pursued the cycles of her blinded quest. Life starts with the day. Affranchised is liberated, freed from slavery. Fatigue is something that drags us down. We go to sleep. The moment comes when finally we wake up. That fatigue is pushed away and life and all its activities begin and you start your daily work. So rumor is sound, loud, indistinct sound. Life starts, we do things, but are we living in a clear, distinct manner, moving towards a goal? Or is it a kind of a mechanical journey, repetitive, without too much significance? Rumor is just a sound. That's the real original meaning of it. It's loud, but doesn't really transmit any clear message. This is how we live. We live in a kind of a vague state of consciousness. We wake up from sleep, but are we really awake within? No. It's life that takes up the energy, the need to move, the need to work, the need to go about our daily duties. So this is the cycle of existence, but it is a blind cycle. It doesn't take you anywhere. Like a routine existence that rises to fall, that begins to end. It's the same pattern again and again. This is the cycle of the blinded quest. All sprang to their unvarying daily acts. So everything wakes up, birds, animals, and men. The 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree obeyed the unforeseeing instant surge. The birds and the animals. Peoples are nations. When you have S, it's a plural, it's not people. Peoples, races. Different nations, different races. So there are all kinds of beings are there. Whether they are animals or whether they are insects, birds or human beings. Everything wake up to their daily routine action, unforeseeing. We live for the moment. We live for today. We can't recognize any reason for being on earth, but we are here now, today, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do that to satisfy my needs for my daily existence. But why am I? Where am I heading? What is the reason why I have come down on earth? I don't even try to understand. I find myself on the earth and I do my daily duties without any knowledge of the purpose, of the reason why we have been sent down on earth. So it's just a kind of an urge, it's a push, because life is energy. Energy gives us the push, the drive, the ability, but there is no consciousness behind this energy. It's a routine, mechanical. Life has the consciousness of just keeping us going. But where are we heading? Unforeseeing. Only man at some point, not the plant, not the animal, not the bird or insect, man at some moment may ask, why am I here? The insect does not. He wakes up to find his food. The animal also looks for his food. Man also looks for his food, no doubt. But why? At some point, if his mind starts to work, he may ask himself, what am I doing here? Am I supposed to repeat this pattern? Can I change this pattern of existence at all? But I can't. I can only ask. That much man can do with his mind. Man can't answer all the questions that his mind asks. But at least he questions. Therefore, he is the leader. And leader here with his uncertain mind, that mind which is unsure, unclear, but is still working to find out some significance. The mind is that which tries, with the help of the little light that it has, the little understanding that it has, it tries to work out the certain problems or purposes of existence. Not that its answers are going to be always right. There is an attempt. So, and leader here with his uncertain mind, alone who stares at the future's covered face, man lifted up the burden of his fate. Alone who stares at the future, but face of the future is always covered. We don't know. Our knowledge is so limited. Then when I become a mental being, I realize that I am a limited being. I question, I don't have the answer. I want to find, but I don't know how. The bird or the animal does not. It accepts the present. Man tries to understand a little more, but the answers are often hidden. And that is why man lifted up, he becomes aware of how limited he is, how weak he is, how he thinks he is the leader of humanity, of all earthly existence. Yet he is so weak, so frail. He is aware of his limits. That is fate. And fate is, at this point, this will end. I am aware of that, looking at me, that end, that death, that failure that is always staring me in the face. I am aware of it. I can't push it away. It's there. If I were just like a small insect, I would live in the moment. My mind, the insect, does not think. It wants to survive today. What will it eat tomorrow? It doesn't think about it. Man thinks of tomorrow. Man thinks of the future, but he's never sure that that future is going to be truly realized. He doesn't know finally where he is going and what the end will be, but he makes an attempt. And that's the whole problem. When you make an attempt and you are never sure of the result, it is something that is very unsatisfactory because it bothers you. I try to find it, I never find. To try to seek and never find what I'm seeking. So there is this sense of how limited I am, how bound I am by my weaknesses, by my incapacities, which will finally lead me to my final destruction, to my fall. That is my fate, and I'm aware of it, so it becomes a burden. So this is the general state of earth as a whole and the response that there is in all living beings to the coming of a new light. The response is very slight. The new light therefore comes, withdraws, comes again, withdraws again. Really, man also is like an animal and a bird and lives in an habitual manner, a customary manner. Ours is a routine existence also. Though the mind may question, the existence is a routine one. Now he brings in the central character. Savitri was living with these people in the hermitage. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes, these peoples, these 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree. She too awoke. Savitri too awoke among these tribes that hastened to join the brilliant summoner's chant. The summoner is the sun. He calls you up to start your new day, new duty. She also woke up that day and, lured by the beauty of the apparent ways, acclaimed their portion of ephemeral joy. This is the tribes, not Savitri. These are all the other people, all the other beings, not only people, but all creatures, whether they are trees or flowers, animals, birds, everything wakes up with the sun and lives for this surface existence, the apparent ways. The surface life is colorful, has so many different possibilities on the surface. I can try this, I can go there, I can attempt this. So we are faced with so many possibilities and choices that we don't feel the need to go further, to look beyond. So with the beauty of the apparent ways, we want a immediate satisfaction. Ephemeral is short-lived. That which is just for a short while. If today I get what I want, I'm happy. A little bit of success is sufficient. This is what we want. I want to do something so that I can be a little successful. Savitri is not like that. This is always, first of all, the case in a great poem or a great story in the ancient days, not today, but in the old world, the central being, the central character is not like others. Today's stories, you will find the central character is someone you can relate to and say, hey, I also do this, I also think like this, I also speak like this. In the olden days, it was the opposite. The central character is unlike the others, is different, is greater, is on a different level altogether. Perhaps because the guides of the ancient world or the society said you have to learn to look up to someone. So they would tell us stories about heroes and kings who are not common people, who are not ordinary in their thinking, who are not ordinary in their behavior, who are not like us. So that something perhaps in the reader or the listener of those stories can maybe open up to try to, I also would like to be like that. I want to be like that hero, that warrior, that king. that wonderful being. In all countries, the central characters were exceptional. Today, unfortunately, is the age of realism, and it's not like that usually. So, Savitri is the central character. She is not like them. Who is she? From where has she come? She is now being introduced. The word ephemeral has just come. We are short-lived ephemeral beings. We are attracted to shallow ephemeral experiences. Today's joy, today's success, today's happiness, good enough for me. We'll think of tomorrow, tomorrow. That is how we move. She has come from the eternal, and she is not attached to the present. Present with its success or its pleasures. She has come from eternity. She wants to bring down the consciousness of the eternal in the world of time. She is from elsewhere. It's very clear she is not a human being. Yet she has put on humanity as a robe. She's living among human beings. She's sharing their life, but she is not. This is the nature of the avatar. Comes from elsewhere, is different, brings on the earth something that comes from beyond the earth, from the eternal, but puts on the aspect of humanity so that the human being can perhaps be helped by seeing this person and think that if she can be like this, maybe I also could try to be like that. Akin to the eternity whence she came, no part she took in this small happiness. Just waking up in the morning and doing her daily routine work is not something she did. She wants the eternal, she's come from the eternal. The story, the narrative will slowly develop, but at present it's just her character that is being outlined, defined. A mighty stranger in the human field, the embodied guest within made no response. She is a mighty stranger. She has come into the human field. She has come into this world. Her spirit is a guest. Put on her. The outer being is the house. She is not part of this earthly human existence. She has come from elsewhere. And therefore that inner being did not respond to that surface call of waking up in the morning and taking up the responsibilities of daily life, chasing after temporary pleasures and temporary satisfactions. She was not like that. That is the way we live, but she is not like that. What is the way we live? The human way, response, the call that wakes the leap of human mind, its checkered eager motion of pursuit, its fluttering hued illusion of desire, visited her heart like a sweet alien note. She is alien to all these things, it's foreign to her, but she has come out of love for mankind. So she is full of compassion, full of kindness, that the human beings are small, they are weak, they want only a little because that's all they can grasp. She sees them like that, all the others around her. And she's not part of this play of surface activities, but she understands that is the way the divine avatar is, full of compassion, understanding, grace. If I am weak, I am small, the mother understands it. She is not like me, but she is also like me in the sense that she has accepted to enter into this field. And she says, yes, if you are part of this world, this is your response. So she is, that compassion, that acceptance, that sweetness is there in her. What is the average way of human existence? The call that wakes the leap of human mind. Our questions, our, you might say, need, find this, to look for that, where is the truth, what is happiness, all these make us more active, more alive. It's checkered, eager motion of pursuit. Motion of pursuit, move to try to satisfy these questions, these desires. But this is checkered in the sense that there is success and failure. Checkered is where there is light and shade. It's not continuous journey from darkness to light. That is not our way of life. Unfortunately, we don't constantly move over and over into the light. We move from darkness to light and back to darkness again and again. From truth to falsehood, but then again to truth, and again back to falsehood, back into error, back into all the failures, from which we rise again. So it's a movement of rising and fall. That's what Sri Aurobindo calls the vertical spiral, goes up to fall down again. And yet there is some tremendous attachment that we have to life, because we, without knowing, we know that that's the only field where we have experience. We can change, we can grow, we can evolve. And that is the gift that the Divine has given to the beings on the earth, especially to man. That he can take charge of his own evolution. But he always doesn't know what he must evolve into. So you think from this, I have to become a better person, I have to become perhaps somewhat with a kinder man or a better man or a wiser man. It's all right. But I still remain a man. The thought that I have to become a divine being, that doesn't really occur to me. That's our notion of progress. We try to solve our problems with the help of the mind, not with the help of the true knowledge that comes from the heights. And so we fall back into error, fall back into difficulties. The fluttering, hued illusion of desire, which is the cause of so many of our difficulties. Desire gives happiness. We think, I get satisfaction, and that satisfaction gives happiness. It's an error. It gives pain. When it goes away, it is worse. So this thing that is uncertain, unstable, unsure, that is our nature. This is the kind of nature of those beings who were around her. So she saw them, she lived among them, visited her heart, because she was there out of love. The Divine comes on earth out of love for man, like a sweet alien note. But who? She is different. Time's message of brief light was not for her. We have only a brief time and a brief light. How much can I see? If I get my answer for today's problem, I say, this is fine, I have understood. Have I understood what I am and why I am and where I am really supposed to head? I don't even think about it. I accept myself, I am like this, I live here now, I have a few difficulties, I will try to sort them out. And if I do that, I am pretty satisfied. She is not satisfied. She doesn't, it is not just improve your daily existence. It is to change fundamentally from the base, from the bottom up, to become a different being. So she has come to question that. That is where he is now leading to the end of the canto. What is it that drags us down again and again? That darkness, that failure, that inconscience, death. She has come not to accept the victory of death. That is who she is. This pattern of rising and falling, this pattern of being born in order to die, is not something she is going to really accept. She's going to fight this. That is the nature of the warrior. She is a warrior. The opposition of centuries, of millennia, is facing her. She is the single being who will question the victory of darkness that repeatedly drags us down. She has come from the eternal, she has not come from the world of death. But others, that out of her infinite compassion, she sees how we all creatures are trapped in this net of death. In her, there was the anguish of the gods. That is the suffering. Because she sees the suffering of all creatures. This is the love of the divine, infinite love of the Mother. She's taken on herself the burden of the race, the burden of human suffering. We on our own can't even understand that we can change from the human to the divine. But first she too has to enter into the human condition to realize how difficult it is. Therefore, she has plunged into the inconscient. She has plunged into the darkness. She has plunged into the failures and the impurities and the imperfections, and slowly showing us how to work our way out of it. This is the greatness, this is the compassion. In her, there was the anguish of the gods, imprisoned in our transient human mold. Earlier he had said that the eternal spark enters the sill of birth. That soul that enters the human form and stays in the background. But that soul that is imprisoned in our human mode. So the prisoner has at some point accepted that he must free himself from his imprisonment. He has to break out of this limit. She is going to do it for us, because she is really filled with the love for her children. So she is the deathless, she is the eternal, but has accepted the state in which man is, earth is, death-bound, limited, imperfect. So she says, I too will get into this world. I too will experience what man is experiencing and find my way out of this difficulty to show humanity how to proceed forward. That is the guide, that is the help, that is the grace. It is not someone who helps you from beyond. It's someone who comes down into your world, shares your difficulties, shares your problems, and almost holds you by the hand to lead you up. A vaster nature's joy had once been hers. She has come from another world, but long could keep not its gold heavenly hue. That world of light and truth from which she came, and she embodied that light and truth. She has plunged into the darkness and therefore seems to be covered by that darkness. So she will have to face the difficulties that mortals face. She has come for that. If she remains always completely immune to the conditions of earth, then why has she come? She has to share in our pain, share in our problems. Only then can she solve the problem. A narrow movement on time's deep abysm, life's fragile littleness denied the power, the proud and conscious wideness, and the bliss she had brought with her into the human form. The calm delight that weds one soul to all, the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. What is this narrow movement? Life. Life is a short time that is given. Life, which is a narrow movement on time's deep abysm. Time is just an empty frame in which life is a certain bridge. When you say this is all that is, you cross from here to here. And so that infinite force and light and truth and power, life cannot hold on because it is so finite, it is so short. What had she brought? The conscious wideness, the bliss, the calm delight, the flaming doors of ecstasy. All this is too great for our earthly life. So someone who comes with the message of too much greatness, too much light and power and truth, either is thrown out by earth, rejected, or she has to tone it down, accept the earthly condition and say we will move step by step into this world. Because if the totality of the knowledge of light and truth and the presence and power that she is and she has brought to earth were to remain the way it is in its origin, earth would sink down under the weight of this power. So she has to reduce it, to make it, bring it within the grasp of the human experience. The sense proud in the sense great, powerful. That wideness, the proud and conscious wideness, the bliss she had brought, that Satchidananda that she had brought, that existence, consciousness, form that she had brought with her when she took the human form, the delight where there is no, our joys are centered around ourselves. We are egocentric. She has come for the universe. Where it's one soul to all. She is the key to the flaming doors of that highest ananda, the ecstasy. This is all that she had come, this is what she had come to bring into this little field of human life. And life denies this. Life says, I cannot stand so much light, so much power, so much beauty and knowledge. You bring it down within my scope. My scope is between birth and death. So she has accepted to enter that field.